I will, getting ready in the morning, I will have a conversation with chat on my phone so that there's thinking going on. You don't have to sit in front of your freaking computer to tap into AI and to be able to have conversations and have a thought partner.
From cloud to
And
cold, oh, we're everywhere.
so, welcome. This is take three
Yeah.
of AI because third time's a charm.
Yes.
So, yeah, we had our bots joining us earlier, and so realized that we're just so used to having them in the room. So it's great to have all you together, all five of us in the room again. And so I'd love to kick it off because there's a lot happening in the AI space. Greg, if we can go around the room and we can chat about what's happening, because I know we all have perspectives on what all of us are involved in. So, Greg, what's happening with you?
Yeah. I've been relying on chat for a long time now. He's been yeah, my right-hand man, but there's been some recent criticism that chat's just been telling us what we want to hear, and
Chat's my buddy. Chat's my buddy.
well, I don't mean to be critical or judgmental, but sometimes he's just there to make us feel good. So
Okay.
I've been doing the initial research there and moving it to other platforms, just experimenting a little bit. And Gemini has been really impressive for kind of the more detailed research and things that I've received there, and kind of moving a couple of projects forward on that platform. And then last week I upgraded to Perplexity Labs, and again, it's just, in my opinion, just been another step forward again in getting a little bit more deeper information and outside information that
Mhm.
chat wasn't giving me before. And my kind of takeaway from this, it's just being able to be dynamic and moving back and forth between platforms and maybe getting a little different perception of what these LLMs want to give us and how they've been
So why
trained.
Perplexity Labs? What intrigued you enough to do it? And when you upgrade, what's the cost per month for people that don't know, like me? Because
It was
uh,
yeah, it was $20 a month to
okay, so
upgrade.
it's chat,
Yeah.
chat.
With Perplexity, and my fascination there is they do have all the scientific literature attached to it,
Hmm.
where some of that information you're going to be paying a lot more money just for the subscriptions to some of the more scientific journals. And Perplexity, you're getting all that in one. So even though there is a fee attached to it, what it's able to search and the information it brings back to me is I'd be paying 5 times as much to get
So
that same
you're doing
information.
it, I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, let me do this differently. Let me actually stay in the open-ended question mode, right? What are you using it for? What kind of stuff? Because you have me intrigued because I don't really care about scientific journals with what I do, but
There's a marine biology project that I've been kind of
okay.
playing with for well, a year now, and it's kind of moving that forward. And so the updated information that's been uh, put out to the public now, it's something that I need to stay current with the network that I'm wanting to build. So
It's interesting, and I'd love you guys to jump in on this stuff when I think about that because it's the application of what you do. If you were to think back, even like, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and you were doing what you're doing now, this project that you had, I can't help but think the hours of research that you would have to do to uncover stuff, and then the strong probability that you wouldn't even get the information that you're currently getting because you wouldn't even know where to go look for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
at best, you would only get the abstract of the paper. You would never get into the details.
Yeah, yeah. So what has it saved you time-wise, do you think? Just
Oh,
directionally correct.
I have no idea. It's huge.
Weeks,
It
weeks,
really
right?
is huge. Yeah, it really is.
That's the kind of stuff that excites me about this,
Yeah.
that, it's like in that space, what I like is you've got credibility with the research because AI does hallucinate. So you're able to at least drill down. I know Steve loves that stuff. So do you guys have opinions on Perplexity Labs? Have you used it?
I
I
find
heard
it's
about it,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
tried it, and I do like it, but you know, the point that Greg makes is different than I had been thinking of, and that is that it gives me access to scientific things because I haven't tested this for that would be a lot more expensive than the subscription itself to Perplexity. So that's a great point that
So are
I'm.
you going to
Yeah.
join Perplexity Labs now, Steve, or do you already have a subscription?
Uh, I've been using Perplexity for a long time, Perplexity
Yeah.
Pro for a long time. I don't know. I have to look into Perplexity Labs. So
Okay.
Yeah, so just to correct on the pricing, so the $20 Greg talked about is for Perplexity. So the Labs
Yes.
is
yeah,
not like a separate license. So if you
okay,
have a Perplexity
Yeah,
license, you get Labs as an add-on. So
yeah,
it's only
Yeah.
available to paid
yeah,
subscribers.
yeah.
So it's not
That's
like you
cool.
pay $20 for Perplexity and $20 through
No,
Perplexity
you're
Labs.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
right.
It's
Yeah,
a total like a chat GPT. Yeah, like chat
yeah.
GPT. Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. Well, it's something to check out that I want to check out and we'll
Really? Along
back
with
up
your other
on.
things? So, but you recently have something that you're impressed with, Steve. What is that?
That is Gemini, of course.
Of course.
And because
Of course. Mic
because I've
drop
tried
moment.
it.
Of course.
Well, it has been I've tried it against deep research of OpenAI, and it's better. For example, I had it produce for me a list of businesses that sell off-road equipment. So that's things like you know cut 4x4 vehicles that are outfitted to do you know off-road driving and things like that. It's just
Are you an off-road guy? I
no, not in
can't
the least.
imagine.
No, but one of my good friends whom I've known for
I'm like,
many
Steve,
years.
I
And
would love
so
it. I'm going
and,
off-road,
and yes, and so I
Rubicon
was
kind of
helping him
stuff.
out. This was a project that I was helping a good friend out on.
Okay. Okay.
And
I'm
anyway,
like,
and
that's a
so
total other side of you that
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
trying
yeah.
trying to get Steve away from his
But don't get
laptop
me wrong,
screen.
I do like, I mean, I grew up, you know, hunting, going to ranches, you know, this has been,
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. I just can't see that.
yeah,
Can't
well,
see it.
absolutely.
Now,
Anyway,
can you imagine Steve in his 4x4 with the big rugged tires and the winch,
yeah,
on the front and the big stack, on the top. So when he goes in the water and the mud,
No,
it
I
doesn't.
can imagine he's sitting behind on his laptop,
no.
not
I
driving.
mean, anyway, oh, you would be surprised. Okay, so anyway, so I
Can't
put
handle it.
together this list. Google did a great job of giving me a list of like 200 over 200 businesses, and the best that because my friend knows the market, and so we looked through it and everything looked completely legit, and it would have taken him a really long time to compile this list,
Oh, yeah.
right? And then we looked through the OpenAI list, and it looked to be hallucinating, like making stuff up, right? And so there were some legitimate entries there, but there was also entries that were not legitimate. So for that, and then I did a couple other tests that, frankly, OpenAI was telling me one thing, and Google told me correctly something else.
So
And
how did you validate to say correct? To say it.
Well, I guess it was the first thing. There were two different methods of validation. One was my friend; he knows the market, right? And so looking through, and it's like, okay,
Everyone needs a friend that
well,
knows
and
the
then
market.
also, but I asked for websites, right? And so then we could actually go to websites and
Okay.
validate that these were businesses, right? And the other thing is I validated by reaching out to some businesses. This was for a car stereo model that I wanted to potentially
Oh,
get, and
in your
and
four by
so
four?
not for a 4x4 actually. So, but anyway, for a convertible nonetheless. But
Isn't
so
that funny? I don't know that I can't. Back in the day, car stereos were the thing. I don't even know the last time I even thought about a car stereo because it's just not. I
well,
don't.
I
It's not the
well
thing
that's a
anymore.
whole nother discussion. But
What
I'll
is?
just say that I wanted a CarPlay. I wanted something that has CarPlay so I could see the navigation
Buy a new
on,
car.
huh?
Buy a new car.
Well, yeah, it's a story. So
It comes
Oh,
with CarPlay.
he'll have to reduce his AI subscriptions for that.
it's
Selling
a
a 1989 Granada. Get something newer.
So anyway, so yeah, and so Google got some of these things right that were not maybe 100%
Okay.
obvious. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right. So sorry to
Are
dodge.
you
That took a
considering
long time to get
yeah,
to that, didn't
knowing
it?
you, Steve, are you considering the VO professional license? I think they're charging $250 for the
No, absolutely not.
VO3. No? Oh,
No.
so this is first time Steve is saying no.
No. Actually, I
If they
say
had a
no a lot.
lifetime, if they had a lifetime
If they had a
Oh, yeah.
lifetime, I would
he would
consider
be
it.
on it. He
Because
would be on it.
I actually don't like subscriptions. So
Do you still have the $200 ChatGPT?
no.
No, you canceled that? Okay.
Yeah, well, I was using that for some specific reason that I kept it and then got rid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
yeah.
So it's okay. That's cool. No other opinions on that? I mean, you're awfully
No,
passionate.
I agree with your Google Gemini that
Yes.
because I was doing over the last 3-4 weeks here deep research, and I was doing this in Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini. And Google Gemini was like 1,000 times better
So
on the
how are
deep
you
research
accessing Google Gemini
functionality.
for people that don't know? How are you accessing Google Gemini for people that don't know?
From the browser. So I pay $20 per month
Mhm.
for Google Gemini,
Mhm.
but you get I think 5 free deep research on the free account. You get 5 or 3 in a given month. But yeah, I have a paid account, so I don't
Okay.
think there is a limit on the paid account.
And
And
that's
also
a
the
$20 a
video,
month thing too.
$20, yeah, per
Everything
month.
that
Yes,
just seems to be the threshold. There's like
that's
pay
what. Yeah,
$20 a month
ChatGPT
and
set
then
this
get all
standard.
this
Yeah,
functionality, which is crazy, by the way.
Mhm.
yeah,
People
Yeah.
spend way
Oh,
more
yeah,
on coffee.
absolutely. I mean, when did we have a transformative technology
Oh,
available for $20 a month?
Yeah.
and when I was a kid, we used encyclopedias. Okay.
Yes,
I was
they were
talking
expensive.
to somebody and I
They
freaking
were,
loved them and they were all alphabetical. You could look stuff
yeah,
up. That's how we did.
yeah.
Yeah.
It,
It was
it
back in the day.
it raises the bar on just about every mental activity, or any really most creative activities. Like here, I'll tell you, I came across an example late last week that I wouldn't have even thought of using AI for. So I had to send out some product documentation to a potential customer. And so the cover of the documentation it was okay, but I worked with ChatGPT to create an image that was it blew away. The cover went from average to very professional looking by just having ChatGPT create a cover for me for the documentation.
Oh yeah, when the underlying image generator, what is it now? Because it used to be Dolly. Dolly was not that.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
right.
just a
Dolly was
four
not.
But so
row
the image
4 row
actually
image.
that it created was the front page of a PDF. So then
Yeah.
what I did is I then told Chat after it created the image that was 8.5 by 11. I said, all right, now let me give you this PDF and you put it in front of it on page 1 and then create a table of contents and then
Yeah,
put footers, put page numbers on the bottom. And lo and behold, I got out a very professional looking document. So it's
yeah.
these finishing touches that just can make a lot of difference sometimes. And,
Mhm.
and so it helped me do
Yeah.
the
And if you don't know how to
touches.
do that on your own, that's really
Right.
Yep.
Or even if you do,
hard to do it.
even if you were yourself a graphic designer, to have the opportunity to do it in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
is
No, I'm not
Yeah.
dogging that. I
Yeah.
totally agree. Yeah.
yeah.
Good job. Michael, what's happening with you? Enlighten us, dude.
I'm just been recently playing with Suno AI. Suno AI is very, again, I know we started with that a long time ago, and
I do love
it
Suno.
completely improved the quality, the output, so many things. My strategy is always creating the lyrics through another AI like ChatGPT mostly, and then taking that lyrics, even the customization of how do you like the tone, the instruments and everything, instructions. and I then move it into Suno AI. And it's lately I've been trying to play around also with creating either a stereotype by like meditational music tracks where it can be play with, you can specifically customize what type of hertz vibrations and
Mhm.
you want to experiment with. So it's very interesting, but I love the quality for Suno. It can be very playful and they can create very catchy tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Play
Yeah.
something for us. Can you play something for us? Come on.
Well, come prepared next time.
Why
Next
no?
time.
It could be now. Why can't it be now? Come on, Michael. Can you play something for us?
I don't have any yeah.
I love this.
Next time
Michael,
there you go.
tee up Suno. I want to hear because I'm now excited. It's like I never thought to have some other outside thing do the
Yeah.
lyrics for you. What's the prompting on this? Is there a business purpose for it? Is it just pleasure?
So I did one because I was learning Spanish. So I created a lyrics on ChatGPT where it would create the English version and so it's a song, an English version and the Spanish version after it right away, and so on through the whole thing. So I just created this. I don't know.
So
if you
you're
can
learning English and then you're learning the Spanish, so you can sing along to this song from the
because
English version to the
yes,
Spanish version.
you the repetition of the song with its vibration, and you keep repeating it either on my walks or on my drives. Then it becomes linked with the words that is how being pronounced because you heard it so many times. It's the repetition in a fun way. I
Yeah.
can play this
Well,
with-
Duolingo, which Greg told me, when I signed up for that, because we're all learning Spanish, and Duolingo uses AI for a lot of their stuff. I mean, and it's like, it's good. I mean, it comes back, it identifies, it quickly does stuff, and I'm learning. And the last time I went to Cabo, when I would say, good morning or whatever, people go, "Oh, habla español," and I'm like, "Oh no,
Mhm.
it's just poquito." That was it. But
Still
I
want to
think
hear
what
it?
happens is because you're engaging, and to your point with Suno, I'm sure the accent is correct, which
Yeah,
is
it's
different
good.
than just hearing someone say it without the proper accent, because it
Yep.
doesn't. If we're in the U.S. or maybe Greg and Michael with you, Manoj, when we look at a word phonetically, I pronounce it differently than it would be in, Mexico or with Spanish.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I'm thinking of the L's a certain way and the L's become J's almost. And so it's just a different,
Yeah.
it's
And
just
the
a
Y.
different way. And so I think AI helps with that without having humans to do it to where it's more consistent pronunciation. Did you find
Still want to
yourself?
hear it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Let's do
Yes.
it.
Let me try with the headphones, and if you don't hear it, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on, you don't hear it because it's
Well,
on
no,
my.
because it's probably going to your headphones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Here you
contrary to popular belief, I'm not in your head.
No, you're not. Hold on.
We're holding. Michael's
Okay.
now undressing so he can play Suno for us.
His official AICS DJ today.
Yes.
Very well, thanks you. Bien, gracias. Good morning, good afternoon, buenos días, buenas tardes. Night sweet dreams at the parties. Buenas noches, sweet dreams at the parties. Buenas noches, sweet dreams at the parties.
It's not clear.
No, I'm hearing Buenas noches. It's cutting out a
Yeah,
little
come
bit.
prepared next
Yeah.
time. Let's
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
It would cut out a
Not
little
It's
bit.
very
breaking,
well.
I
yeah.
think we just need to go to the Suno app on your computer and do it, and not your phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
is it?
I want to hear it next time. But I could hear
Yeah,
Buenas
yeah.
noches. I could
Yeah.
hear, and maybe there was a Buenas tardes in there too, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was there exactly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Little sprinkling of good afternoon, good evening. Yes,
Yes, exactly. That was the song.
yeah, I love it. Manoj, what's happening with you, sir?
Yeah, we'll talk about Copilot, but bigger than Copilot, this was the transformative week because my wife finally became fan of ChatGPT this week, and she's like those super reluctant about any kind of technology, never looked at AI. I'm like, always wondering, what am I doing, spending so much time with
Uh-huh.
AI? But she had a use case this week, where we were renovating our house. So our front of the house, there was an opening of the door, but there's no door. And she was able to then take a picture of a door she wants from our website and go to ChatGPT and say, okay, overlay this door on top of my house. I want to see how this will look. And then it did a very, very good job. And that was the transformative
Wow.
Oh,
moment.
wow, yeah.
And then
Very
now
good.
she's just using it for so many other use cases around designing different parts of the house.
Nice.
That she's a convert now, a true fan of ChatGPT.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Michael, you talk about going back to Suno. Suno I love, and I'm looking at, audience of small and medium-sized business owners. What does it look like to tap into AI? Whatever your flavor is, right? Whether it's Anthropic Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, with Google, Chat GPT, Microsoft Copilot, whatever that functionality is. And I think it's just exploring things and going back to basics. Like I look at, it's so funny, Manoj and I, we had, by the time this airs, the first Copilot course that we've done through AICS. But in planning that and prepping through, it's like, how do you tap into quickly the functionality that AI can offer us? Within the ecosystem of Copilot is one of those spaces that we can do that. Um, and I think it's challenged the thinking. Granted, you're going to share advancements within, Microsoft Copilot that they've done, but challenge your own thinking. Challenge the stuff that you're thinking, oh, I don't have time for that. I can't do that. And for me lately, I'll hold my phone up. I will, getting ready in the morning, I will have a conversation with chat on my phone so that there's thinking going on. You don't have to sit in front of your freaking computer to tap into AI and to be able to have conversations and have a thought partner. And so let that exploration happen, whether it's within the ecosystem of Microsoft Copilot or ChatGPT, whatever it may be. But there's so many things with chat that I will capture. And Michael, I think you talked about it before. I'll say something, but and it's going to be on my phone. And whether I want it cleaned up, right? Hey, I'm going to tell you this thing, clean it up, format it. And oh, by the way, I can go back on my computer and that thread is there, which is huge. Or it's be a thought partner and bake some stuff out. So this morning it was, around like Copilot or OpenAI being a business growth engine, right? What does that look like? How do we explore that? And a lot of it is uncovering for us, having a different perspective on what we do. Within the Microsoft Copilot space, it's take a look at everything that you know about me. And Michael, I was prompted from something you had done before around ChatGPT. Knowing everything that you know about me, tell me XYZ, right? Where I have opportunities, what you think of me. Only take a look at everything that you have within that ecosystem within Copilot because it has access to email, OneDrives, all the stuff, all the requests that you've done, and to say, hey, where's the opportunity? What am I not seeing? Where can I get better? Where can I maximize time? And I think that's the next evolution, if we haven't done it already, of agents and developing things so that help me see what I can't see because I'm buried in the middle of it. And when you're buried in the middle of it, you don't have that perspective of where's the light? Where's the path out? It's like being in a freaking corn maze. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have someone help guide you out of it. So that's what I encourage people to do. And that's where I've been looking at more opportunity because I'm not going to get any more than 24 hours in a day. I'm just not. So it's like, what does it look like to make the most of those hours that we get?
Yeah.
That's it. That's on my pedestal.
I think
Yeah.
that reminds me of something, which is we are in an era where because everything is targeted marketing, it can create a closed bubble. Means you keep getting what you're interested and what you want to always want to hear, or what it's reinforcing what you have. And Joe Dispenza was talking about something like that on a different scale, which is and now it's actually in physical tools, which is social media, your phone, everything pops up according to your interest.
Mhm.
But that can keep us limited in one niche and not seeing what's the other side of that barrier, right?
Mhm.
And that would be a great opportunity if AI can not go with the same strategy and be different. So it's not gonna be targeted, but it can open up, what am I missing
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
this picture? What I'm not seeing? Where is my blind spots?
Mhm.
Where
Yeah, I
is
freaking love that, Michael, because it can be, I go back to the thing that we all talk about, right? It's like prompting is the foundational communication tool for engaging with AI. Okay. So it's all in the questions. So to your point is like, even with chat that we know now, I think it'd be a really cool question to ask is, what am I missing? What am I not seeing? What am I not taking advantage of? Because you're right, we end up, Tony Robbins talks and others do around the whole idea that proximity is power. So when you're in that group think, right, and when you're surrounded, to your point, that you're getting reinforced with what you already believe to be true, what you're already interested in, you've got life passing you by on the rest of it, that you're not in proximity with other things that could exponentially advance you. And I think it's great because you've got this engine there, that this tool that can help you get out of it as long as you're asking the right questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the power of the question, not the answer right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
even before AI, it was drilled into me. I had this one in university. I had this one teacher. He was one of the best tax research guys in the country. I got a master's in tax, and that's what he said. He would say that the half the battle, at least half the battle, when you're doing like a tax research problem, is to be able to ask the right questions. And so it's been this way for a long time. Now the difference is that with AI, it is much easier to get good answers quickly if you
Mhm.
just ask the right questions.
So you've got me I got a master's in tax. What is that, like an MTA or what?
Yeah,
What
it's
is
actually
that?
it's called a Master's of Professional Accounting,
Nice.
with
MPA.
concentrated, yeah, MPA, with
I've never heard
concentration
of
in
that.
tax. Yeah, from University of
Literally
Texas.
never heard of that.
Yeah, UT Austin has one of the best programs year in and year out in this.
For MPAs.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway,
Add those letters behind your
the
name.
point was is
People are
that
gonna
this
wonder.
guy he wrote all the books on taxation, and that was the number one thing he taught was asking the right questions at the front of a tax research problem.
Yeah.
It was yeah. So anyway, it's been this way. The great thinkers for a long time have realized this. It's just now it's so quick, so much quicker to get good answers in a very
See,
rapid.
that's why you and I get along, because coaching is about the questions and
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
tax is about the
Yes.
questions.
That's right.
Love
Yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So much in common.
Yes.
Yeah.
AI is more like amplified the answer so quickly in
Yeah.
your face that makes you think again, was that the right question, or was that the
Mhm.
proper question? And we're being trained on how to ask and what
Yeah.
is the question. And it's
Yeah.
all, I think, and we should leverage that because it's a great opportunity on looking in and see, like, am I I have a right trajectory? Is it on this angle or that angle? Or what is my angle? Sort of my trajectory can go a long way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and
Mhm.
it's interesting, Michael, because there's a nuanced difference, right? Because we've been going through, part of the course that we're doing is around prompt engineering. And
Mhm.
prompt engineering is about that very specific narrowing down. And that can't be the only way that we engage with this, because we reinforce, to your point, what we know or what our thinking is. So it's this, there's got to be a balance between this very structured thing and this other, and you could probably do it in the same thread. You're doing this very
Yeah.
structured thing and then go and follow up with this question, what am I missing?
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
and I love ending meetings with, what should we have talked about that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
almost feels like that kind of thing that if you ended that thread, or at least at some point where you think you're done, right? And that engagement is to have some open-ended question like that that's not this highly structured prompt, just to see what you may be leaving on the table.
Yeah,
Here's
and
an-
you know, I agree with that. And
Yeah.
and I actually, if I think more fundamentally back to the beginning of is that, you know, even to use chat to say, am I asking the right questions? Here are my current questions. But then actually, even going back a step earlier in the problem solving process is to make sure that that I have the right objectives in the first place, because
Mhm.
the objectives are the most important thing. And then make sure that I'm asking the right questions, and then, you know, so basically using it every step of the way as a
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
agree. Michael,
And
you had
I got
something? Okay, Manoj, go ahead.
yeah, because I got related feedback from one of our customers last week where they were saying that after they attended the prompt engineering course and they were creating a proposal, and just going through the process of creating the prompt for writing that proposal was like a logical thought process, that it
Mm-hmm.
made them think in a structured way when
Mhm.
they had to think about, you know, the prompt in a certain way, where they said, you know, that was like if they were not doing using AI, they may not have thought about so many things
Yeah.
in such a broad way when they were writing proposals in the past. So I think, like, you know, we've known that coding, yeah, programming, you know, teaches you logical thinking, because just doing the flow charting and structuring how your code will work and handle all the
Mm-hmm.
different cases. I think prompts are something like that. It's like a thinking tool. It allows you to, you know, also organize your thinking in a logical way.
Yeah, you do have to front load it. Yeah, you do have to front
Yeah.
load it. Michael, what did you had a comment that Steve was talking earlier? Or you?
Glad you mentioned the word logical, because I think, and this has been coming to me recently, which is we have two sides of the brain. One of them is logical and the other one is intuitive, which we cannot explain why we got interested in this or why I landed on this option for some reason. And we don't have a logical explanation for the past that this was picked. And I think we need it would be great. So something I was thinking about to practice the right question, or what could I be missing? Because even when I'm asking the question, I'm using my logical side.
Mhm.
So an exercise that I recently been playing with, which is I activate a VPN on my phone or on my computer or whatever, and then I change the country and then research on Google the same thing or whatever I was searching.
Oh,
And
okay.
so many options that comes out. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that these exist. I didn't know that there are businesses that do that. But my search engine was highly focused on a very narrow area,
Yeah,
which is where I am, or North
Yeah.
America max.
yeah,
But I looked at a different country on a completely different continent,
yeah,
and they are doing things in a different way.
yeah.
Mm.
It's interesting. It's almost like changing Facebook Marketplace search to a different area. And then you're going to come up with all these
Yeah,
different products that are
all the
listed
products,
that weren't
yes.
before. Yeah. Manoj, how about you?
Hey, Michelle, we did my update, so we've done the round
No,
robin.
we didn't do the Copilot. You said
Oh,
you were
not
going
the
to do
Copilot. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You got Michelle,
I
you
thought we were
lost
doing
your
the
marbles again. No, it was you were going to show us on Copilot. You're like,
on
Michelle,
Copilot.
an update. Yeah.
Yes.
Copilot. We want to see.
Okay.
They've got some new
Okay.
stuff out, which is
All
hilarious.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, let me share my screen. So some major updates on Copilot over the last 3-4 weeks. You know, they're rolling out like small functionality, but now that, you know, the bits and bits have added to a lot, where the big change is that previously Copilot was part of Office 365. So you logged into Office 365, and then Copilot was like one option, and now Microsoft is putting Copilot in front of everything. So like everything starts with Copilot, and now Office 365 is part of Copilot. So it's that kind of change. And this is the new interface. So they've completely changed the interface where when you log into your Office 365 account, you go straight into Copilot first now. And then you are able to do your chat. So they made the interface more like ChatGPT because previously things were on the right hand side. So now they've moved using the ChatGPT type interface. So you see all your agents are here, you see your conversations here, and then they've added a new functionality. So the Notebook LM functionality is now in Copilot, where you can create a notebook or create a project, and then you can add files. So like in this case, this is the World Economic Forum report where they analyze how jobs are going to evolve in the next 5 years. So I've added that PDF file, and you can ask it to do a audio summary, of the key content of that file, like you can do that in Notebook LM. And plus, you can just ask questions now. So when you ask questions inside a notebook, it'll only respond to those questions based on the files in that project. It won't look at all the files in your organization or all the internet knowledge. So if you're working on a specific project and you only want responses based on the files related to that project, then you can create a notebook, put the files related to that, and then do your chat based on that. But what I wanted to highlight was that when you now create an agent, they have added a functionality that each agent, you can now configure your email box as a context for an agent. So if I just say my emails, so what this will do is now this agent will get connected to my email box, and now I will be able to just ask question to this agent about, any emails needs my attention, summarize all the emails I got in the last 2 days, in the last 24 hours. So this was not possible previously. This has only been added a couple of days ago, where your email box can be now subject for an agent where you can ask questions. And there's also SharePoint, where you can then also link certain specific SharePoint websites. So if you don't want all the SharePoint websites, you can then pick specific SharePoint websites, and the agent can then also respond based on that. And there is also My Teams. So if there are different people chatting and you're having all those discussions on Microsoft Teams with the colleagues in your organization, then now you can also ask questions to say, hey, what was I chatting about this person 2 days ago? And can you summarize, what were the actions when I was chatting with this person? So this now makes Microsoft Copilot really powerful, because previously Microsoft Copilot had the advantage of data privacy and security. That is the best AI tool. If your organization is fussy about security and data privacy and data going out of your organization, but it was lacking in terms of the core AI capabilities at ChatGPT, Google Gemini. They were way ahead. But now with this upgrade, it is matching now that you've got the 4 models, you've got a very advanced agent functionality. So now you have the best of both the worlds, that you've got all your high data privacy and security, plus all the rich functionalities which are available in Notebook LM, ChatGPT, advanced agent functionalities. So it's a very, very compelling offering now for organizations who want to roll out AI in a secure way.
Now, this is within Studio.
No, this is within Microsoft 365 Copilot. So users can create personal agents just in the Copilot.
I say that, Manoj, because you're in Studio, right now?
Oh yeah, in the background it uses that as the infrastructure, because it's the same infrastructure. But this is where I'm logged in as a user, and I can create my own agent which I can have access to.
So can you have the source that the agent's going to go over beyond just email? Can you have more than one, or is this just a single source it's either going to do websites, or it's going to do SharePoint, or it's going to do Teams, or it's
you can do multiple. So you can do SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, and email.
Because this is freaking the thing that I woke up to this morning with the agent on. I'm not kidding you. I am freaking not kidding you. That we build this thing to where it scans to say, okay, because it's similar theme, guys, that we were talking about, is tell me what I don't know. Where am I? So you can build out an agent then and go in to configure it to say, hey, this is what you're meant to do. Scan everything that's going on, emails the past 30 days, Teams chats. Where is my opportunity to be more efficient? Where do I have duplication? Where do I have all this stuff? Not
Yeah.
to mention when you were in teams. So when I worked at Sutter Health, we had, and it was the same thing at Centene, because Microsoft is the system that's in there. Everything was in Teams channels, everything, every
Yes.
project, every
Yes.
whatever. And so all of those individual channels had their own chats associated with them.
Yeah.
Try and keep up with that. Try and
Yeah.
keep up
Yeah.
with that. So this,
Yeah.
I think, is the way that if you just went and said, hey, give me, I want just to look at Teams every day and I want a daily recap
Yeah.
of what's going on, what's out there. Do I have any to-dos that I need to do? Where do we have concerns that, we're not meeting, whatever?
Mm.
This would be huge as one of
Absolutely.
those,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
literally have an executive assistant to give you recaps on stuff that's going on.
These
Yeah.
can be
Massive.
many. They
Yeah,
can be
because you
used.
can like say summarize all the emails and the team chats I've had with this person, and it can then combine everything and give you like one
Well,
snapshot of all the
even the
discussions. Yeah.
whole, I would go a level to where certain channels, let's say that you've got a project that's hot and heavy, and I'm not kidding you, I would go in and there would be messages deep. It's almost like you get this
Mm.
email thread with this ridiculous amount of stuff. Do you have to go
Yeah.
back and read from the very beginning, or can you say, in the Teams chat, I want a recap of, high level, where the action items, what are the, uh, pain points, where are we in trouble, basically?
Yeah.
And what are we celebrating? Because there's other stuff that happens too, that is a leader of a project.
Yeah.
And you're over several things. Because I mean, my God, I must have had 15 channels, 20 channels easily
Yeah.
for all
Yeah.
the stuff that was going on. And it's not possible to stay current on that stuff. And what happens is, and I think, Michael, I'm going to go back to this thing of reinforced thinking. We have our go-tos, right, of
Mm.
the channels that we would typically go to, or the chats that we may be in, even though all these channels have chats, and then we miss the other stuff that's going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just think it's a
There-
great
yeah.
way for somebody
Yeah,
to
there's
tap you on the shoulder.
This
Yeah.
can be huge, for example, like for human resources. So you can create an agent, and especially that we're serving small and medium business. So if you create an agent which represents human resources and onboarding, you can feed it with all the documents, all the policies, the internal policies, the strategies, the everything, and that agent is accessible by all the teams, all the team members, all the staff on the company. And that is huge because
Mhm.
it can be
Yeah.
quick, lift off the load on people who are like have to do with repetitive questions, or and it's easy access to the same and just update the policy. That becomes the back end new information.
Yeah, there can
Or
be a trigger. I think it's Studio, isn't it, Manoj, that in order to have an enterprise agent?
For the organization, yeah. So if you want
Okay.
to, HR wanted to create an agent which is then available to all the
Yeah.
employees, then yeah, you would use Copilot Studio
Yeah.
for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Different
But I
costs,
think
but
this
it's
is
worth
where
it.
this is I think Copilot is emerging. So like ChatGPT is now the leader in terms of individual AI usage. Claude is the leader in terms of coding that programmers now are going, and even Claude is saying, okay,
Yeah.
we want to now specialize because they're giving up the battle for individual
Mhm.
AI
Yeah.
race. And that's why I think Copilot is the leader in terms of enterprise, that if you want to use AI in an enterprise setting, where you want to then restrict the amount of information which is going out, then Copilot is definitely now a very, very strong contender, to be a leader in that enterprise space.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. All right, guys. I appreciate the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I every week is just a new gift that we get presented. Yeah, and what's going on. I look forward to it. I look forward to, and I challenge anyone who's listening, think of examples, think of opportunities, share them of stuff that, tips and tricks, because that's how we learn. It's like someone goes, well, I did such and such, and don't assume that just because someone's in the AI space, they know all the stuff that's going on in the AI space. Don't assume that.
Yeah.
Share what's working for you. Share what you stumbled across, and
Yeah. And now, after my wife's transformative experience
yeah.
this week, I'm a believer now. Anybody can use AI.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
There you
Oh,
go.
it's huge. I've
Feedback
had it with
comes.
Yeah.
leaders and coaching sessions. I'm
And
like, boom, boom, boom,
she
and they're
didn't
like,
need
oh
any
my God.
training. Yeah, she didn't need any training. I didn't coach her anything. She just went,
Really?
talked to ChatGPT, and she was sending me the pictures of the house. Like, okay, how did you do that?
Well, she's been around you long enough, Manoj, that she's
Yeah.
been watching, right?
Yeah.
Michael, what did you say?
No, I was thinking you pinpointed on it, which she didn't use the logical that we always do. She used a new mind who doesn't know anything about it. And she created a new path that we didn't know existed, because the logical is always going on a certain structure or a certain knowledge. But someone who is new completely to the industry or anything would ask completely different questions that we might not even imagine.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Which is where it comes back to.
Yeah.
What am I missing? What am I missing? Yeah. What needs to change? Which is a coaching question all the time, right? If your current processes are designed to deliver your current results. So if you have different results that you need to hit, what needs to change? Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Always great to be in the room with you. Until next time, this has been AI Because. Please like, share, subscribe. You know, if you want to be a guest, you want to chat, we got some fun stuff. Let's go. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Show you how a new wave rising, it's clear and loud. AI's the future, let's make you proud. Data and dreams combine in the air. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools, let's turn it around. AI Because, we're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moods. Ooh.